Hi, this is Capun Piso, the realist. I ask you a question. Do we create the mind and thoughts with our brains? Or do we pick up the thoughts and morality from God Himself, the Creator? Neurology in this 21st century proves that we create the mind with our brains. Our brains are like universes within itself, from the very large to the very small.
Scientists talk about dark matter as the substance that holds the universe together and could prevent a big rip.
There you go, Christians. Where is your God now?
That dark matter exists.
This is reality.
Is seen in some of
evidence
the images
by
of
science.
sometimes images of
science.
other galaxies surround them. The other galaxies are not really there at all. Rather, they are reflections of more distant galaxies.
And they resemble our brains.
Astronomers
we have trillions of neurons inside our heads.
Matter, causing a weird matter,
It's a tremendous
causing
tool
a
for the
weird
astronomer because we can measure the distortion.
Yes, this man is a doctor, an atheist, mentally healthy. He would never be a scientist like this if he believed in an imaginary friend God.
He's here on the sky.
Now this doctor, he didn't get his knowledge from the air. It took years and years and years for him to get his degree in science. In the moment that he started believing in God, and if a Christian or Muslim or whatever it is, and all this bullshit going into his brain, he's going to be distracted. He won't be able to be a good scientist, never get his degree. So he's mentally healthy.
Passing through clumps of dark matter. What you look at is not really what's happening. It's a bit like wearing spectacles and not knowing that you're wearing them.
And if you can tell how much that bending is occurring, you can map
what a brain this lady has.
And you can also
Brilliant.
see, well, if there's
an atheist, of course, you cannot.
You
cannot compete all this believing in God. You know, they'll distract your mind.
Should given the gravity,
make you sick.
Or not.
It's like being a schizophrenic and being able to be a doctor and knowing these things.
Then dark energy might be
this
changing.
lady, this doctor, is really having all this things in his brain based on reality. Now check this other one.
An angel of Satan beat me and stopped me from getting too proud. Now isn't that something?
Yep.
What a gift. What a gift our pains and aches and problems are to us.
Yeah, they're gifts. See the masochism?
Very nice person, like my grandmother, but she's deluded. She doesn't understand science. And she's telling fairy tales. It's like when you tell your children fairy tales. But what about if your children are like 25 years old and believing all this nonsense? Then it's definitely delayed and has a problem with the brain.
A single atom has been created nor destroyed. They've all just been quietly combining and recombining in an endless cycle of creation.
Yeah, there's no God.
At some point in the far distant past, we were dealt a pretty good hand when an ancient star died a spectacular death and seeded our little corner of the galaxy with everything we'd ever needed. All the raw materials, all the iron, carbon, calcium, oxygen, and other elements that would billions of years later lead to this. Life.
Of star stuff. The debris of exploding stars that manufactured the atoms of which were composed.
Part of a star. In fact, everything around us was once part of a star. Those stars forged all the heavier elements that would much later come together to create the molecules that form everything we see.
All recycled atoms. It's absolutely true.
We see the same kind of recycling here on Earth. The atoms that formed the planet have been reused to create and sustain every organism that ever lived.
But this reality is painful, and it's very hard to get and to study in our brains, so you plainly say, God did it, and go back into your fairy tales. That's the problem.
All life in the universe 6,000 years ago, these people they belong in mental institutions, all of them. Only in America we have places like this, with full of retarded people that believe in the imaginary friend, zombie Jesus creating all life in the universe. America has allowed places like this and call them universities.
The reality of it all is that we are evolved, mutated primates. And we simply don't want to accept it. I mean, we're animals. And we are down with cognition, which is an insanity. And we can never understand things unless we study them. So it's better to have fantasies of God and nonsense like that. A healthy brain is an atheist brain, like and believe in bullshit. Look at this brilliant scientist, Dr. Kaku. He understands this. And he has to be an atheist, otherwise forget it.
The string moves in space and time. It forces space and time to curl up. And that's why we have precisely Einstein's equations.
Because string theory can encompass both the tiny quantum world and the vast world of space, it looked like it might hold the answer to the problem of gravity that was so tormenting Hawking. But it was not Hawking who saw the possible solution.
Being a thinking ape, since even though we're born atheist, but we have this fear of existence, and the fear that we're going to die. We're going to get old, we're going to die, and all these fears are demanding that we create God and life after death. And this fear is in the amygdala here.
It's all triggered by a small gland in the brain called the amygdala.
All the sensory systems feed into the amygdala. It's a funnel through which all this information flows, and if it gets past the gate, then the floodgates open up and all these responses come flowing out. These are hardwired responses to danger.
In your arms and legs to help you defend yourself or escape. Your hair stands up on end, and your pupils dilate as they become fixed and focused. This fear response can kick in at any moment.
These are not willful, intentional, voluntary responses. They are your body's automatic physiological response to danger. Evolution is doing the thinking for you and allow you to make decisions.
That's evolution for you.
Stand here frozen, or should I run away?
The brain gets affected by chemicals, the stuff that we eat. If this was an Amanita muscaria mushroom, I'll be seeing God and writing a Bible.
Created equal from the brain's point of view. There are certain things that we evolved to be a little bit more prepared to fear than others. Now, millions of years ago, may have done somewhat better in terms of surviving and because it's so fundamental to survival, we are wired by evolution to fear certain things.
Exactly.
These fears are in our genes.
I know, the truth hurts. There is no God. It's the creation of our brains took up our existence. We are made out of DNA. And bacteria eventually will get us. That's a fact. Yes, religious psychosis, believing God is the most dangerous disease that can make us extinct and give us tremendous intolerance. Tremendous intolerance.
Yes, we rebuke you, Satan. You release. You release.
Just a few minutes, we're getting ready to pray. Bishop.
Pray. Idiot. Pray.
These people are no different than schizophrenics. Feel sorry for them.
Atheism is just another form of Christianity. It's that simple.
Science and technology.
It's that simple.
It is necessary to understand the country's close relationship with nature and its enduring ties with ancient traditions.
Yes, the religion.
The ancients believed
Shinto.
that a spirit or kami lived in everything.
No matter how peaceful the religion is, it's still a psychosis that can explode, waiting for places to happen. Religious people are like HIV positive people.
You will understand this, and you might join us.
This is door of heaven gate.
The manner in which the cult members recorded their farewell messages stuns the detectives. Stuns the detectives.
Looking forward to?
Investigators will soon learn that many of the Heaven's Gate followers who killed themselves had been preparing for this moment for decades.
All Christians.
It would be suicide to suicide.
And these are all educated people. They're not like they are ignorant. No, they're very well educated. Probably just like a schizophrenic. A schizophrenic is educated, acts the same thing.
It's a very dangerous psychosis.
Injected the ones that didn't want to drink the poison.
Shouldn't allow to be taught all the garbage in schools.
Still sat on a table.
Or in churches.
Believing God is a dangerous psychosis that dare not to speak its name. The cancer of the brain that nobody seems to see. Pace de Oro.